Then the son of Suvala, King Duryodhana, to Sasana and Karna, in consultation with one another, formed an evil conspiracy with the sanction of Dhritarashtra, the king of the Kuru. They resolved to burn to death Kunti and her sons. But that wise Vidura, capable of reading the heart by external signs, ascertained the intention of these wicked persons by observing their countenances alone. Then the sinless of Vidura, of so enlightened by true knowledge and devoted to the good of the Pandavas, came to conclusion that Kunti with her children should fly away from her foes, and providing for that purpose a boat furnished with enemies and flags and strong enough to stand both wind and wave, he addressed Kunti and said, "These Dhritarashtra have been born for destroying the fame and offspring of the race. Of wicked soul he is about to cast off eternal virtue. O blessed one, I have kept ready on the stream a boat capable of withstanding both wind and wave. Escape by it with thy children from the net that death hath spread around you." Hearing these words, the illustrious Kunti was deeply grieved, and with her children, Abu of Bharata race, stepped into the boat and went over the Ganges. Then, leaving both according to the advice of Vidura, the Pandavas took with them the wealth that had been given to them by their enemies, and safely entered the deep woods. In the house of luck, however, that had been prepared for the destruction of the Pandavas, an innocent Nishada woman who had come there for some purpose, was with her children burnt to death. And that worst of Melekhas, the wretched Purukhana, was burnt in the conflagration. And thus were the sons of Dhritarashtra with their counselors deceived in their expectations, and thus were the illustrious Pandavas, by the advice of Vidura, saved with their mother. But the people knew not of their safety, and the citizens of Varanavata, seeing the house of luck consumed, became exceedingly sorry. And they sent messengers unto King Dhritarashtra to represent everything that had happened. And they told the monarch, "Thy great end hath been achieved. Thou hast at last burnt the Pandavas to death. Thy desire fulfilled, enjoy with thy children, O king of the Kurus, the kingdom." Hearing this, Dhritarashtra with his children made a show of grief, and along with his relatives, including Kihatri and Bhisma, the foremost of the Kurus, performed the last honors of the Pandavas. Janamejaya said, "O best of Brahmanas, I desire to hear in full this history of the burning of the house of luck and the escape of the Pandavas therefrom. That was a cruel act of theirs, acting under the counsels of the wicked. Recite the history to me of all that happened. I am burning with curiosity to hear it." Vaisampayana said, "O chastiser of all foes, listen to me, O monarch, as I recite the burning the house of luck and the escape of the Pandavas. The wicked Duryodhana, beholding Bhimasena surpass in strength and Arjuna, highly accomplished in arms, became pensive and said. Then Karna, the offspring of the sun, and Sakuni, the son of Suvala, endeavored by various means to compass the death of the Pandavas. The Pandavas too counteract all those contrivances, one after another, and in obedience to the counsels of Vidura, never spoke of them afterwards. Then the citizens, beholding the son of Pandu possessed of accomplishments, began, O Mahabharata, to speak of them in all places of public resort, and assembled in courtyards and other places of gathering. They talked of the eldest son of Pandu as possessed of the qualifications for ruling the kingdom. And they said, Dhritarashtra, dog, possessed of the eye of knowledge, having been blind, obtaining not the kingdom before. How can he become king now? Then Bhisma, the son of Santanu, of rigid vows and devoted to truth, having formerly relinquished the sovereignty, would never accept it now. We shall, therefore, now install with proper ceremonies the heirs of the Pandavas, endowed with youth, accomplished in Veda, versed in the Vedas, and truthful and kind, worshipping Bhisma, the son of Santanu, and Dhritarashtra, conversant with the rules of morality. He will certainly maintain the former and the latter with his children in every kind of enjoyment. The wretched Duryodhana, hearing these words of the prating partisans of Yudhishthira, became very much distressed. Deeply afflicted, the wicked prince could not put up with those speeches. Inflamed with jealousy, he went unto Dhritarashtra, and finding him alone, he saluted him with reverence and distressed at the partiality of the citizens for Yudhishthira. He addressed the monarch and said, O father, I have heard the parting citizens utter words of ill omen, passing thee by, and Bhisma, too, they desire the son of Pandu to be their king. Bhisma will sanction this, for he will not rule the kingdom. It seems, therefore, that the citizens are endeavoring to inflict a great injury on us. Pandu obtained of old the ancestral kingdom by virtue of his own accomplishments, but thou, from blindness, didst not obtain the kingdom, though full qualified to have it. If Pandu's son now obtaineth the kingdom as his inheritance from Pandu, his son will obtain it after him, and that son, and so on will it descend in Pandu line. In that case, O king of the world, ourselves with our children, excluded from the royal line, shall certainly be disregarded by all men. Therefore, O monarch, adopt such counsels that we may not suffer perpetual distress, becoming dependent on others for our food. O king, if thou hast obtained the sovereignty before, we would certainly have succeeded to it. However much the people might be unfavorably to us. King Dhritarashtra, whose knowledge only was his eyes, on hearing these words of his son, and recollecting everything that Kanika had said unto him, became afflicted with sorrow, and his mind thereupon began to waver. Then Duryodhana, and Karna, and Sakuni, the son of Suvala, and Dusana, as their fourth, held a consultation together. Prince Duryodhana said unto Dhritarashtra, Send, O father, by some clever contrivance the Pandavas to the town of Varanavata. We shall then have no fear of them. Dhritarashtra, on hearing these words uttered by his son, reflected for a moment, and replied unto Duryodhana, saying, Pandu, ever devoted to virtue, always behaved dutifully towards all his relatives, but particularly towards myself. He cared very little for the enjoyments of the world. but devotedly gave everything unto me, even the kingdom. His son is as much devoted to virtue as he, and is possessed of every accomplishment of worldwide fame. He is again the favorite of the people, possessed of allies. How can we by force exile him from his ancestral kingdom? The consuls and soldiers and their sons and grandsons have all been cherished and maintained by Pandu. Thus benefited of old by Pandu shall not, or child, the citizens lay us with our friends and relatives now on account of Yudhishthira. Duryodhana replied, What thou sayest, O father, is perfectly true, but in view of the evil that is looming on the future as regards thyself, if we conciliate the people with wealth and honors, they would assuredly side with us for these proofs of our power. The treasury and the ministers of state, O king, are at this moment under our control. Therefore it behoveth thee now to banish by some gentle means the Pandavas to the town of Varanavata. O king, when the sovereignty shall have been vested in me, then Mahabharata may Kunti with her children come back from that place. Dhritarashtra replied, This, O Duryodhana, is the very thought existing in my mind, but from its sinfulness I have never given expression to it. Neither Bhishma, or Drona, or Kihatri, or Gautama will never sanction the exile of the Pandavas. In their eyes, O dear son, amongst the Kurus, ourselves and the Pandavas are equal. Those wise and virtuous persons will make no difference between us. If, therefore, we behave so towards the Pandavas, shall we not, O son, deserve death at the hands of Kurus, of these illustrious personages, and of the whole world? Duryodhana answered, Bhishma hath no excess of affection for either side, and will therefore be natural. The son of Drona is on my side. There is no doubt that where the son is, there the father will be. The Kripa, the son of Saradivati, must be on the side on which Drona and Asvatihaman are. He will never abandon Drona and his sister son. Kihatri is dependent on us for his means of life. Talk he is secretly with the foe. If he sides the Pandavas, he alone can do us no injury. Therefore, exile thou the Pandavas to Varanavata without any fear, and take such steps that they may not go thither this very day. But this act, O father, extinguish the grief that consumeth me like a blazing fire, that robbeth me of sleep, and that pierced my heart even like a terribly dart. Vaisampayana said. Then Prince Duryodhana, along with his brothers, began to gradually win over the people to his side by grants of wealth and honors. Meanwhile, some clever counsellors, instructed by Dhritarashtra, one day began to describe the town of the Varanavata as a charming place, and they said, The festival of Pasupati hath commenced in the town of Varanavata. The concourse of people is great, and the procession is the most delightful of all ever witnessed on earth. Decked with every ornament, it charmed the hearts of all spectators. Thus did those counsellors, instructed by Dhritarashtra, speak of Varanavata, and whilst they were so speaking, the Pandavas felt the desire of going to that delightful town. And when the king ascertained that the curiosity of the Pandavas had been awakened, the son of Anvika, addressed them, saying, "These men of mine often speak of Varanavata as the most delightful town in the world. If therefore, ye children, ye desire to witness that festival, go to Varanavata with your followers and friends, and enjoy yourselves there like the celestials. And give ye away pearls and gems unto the Brahmanas and the musicians, and sporting there for some time as ye please like the resplendent celestials, and enjoying as much pleasure as ye like. Return ye to Hastinapura again." Yudhishthira, full understanding the motives of Dhritarashtra, and considering that he himself was weak and friendless, replied unto the king, saying, "So be it." Then addressing Bhishma, the son of Santanu, the wise Vidyura, Drona, Valrika, the Kaurava, Somadatta, Kripa, Asvatihaman, Bihurisravas, and the other reverend councillors, and Brahmanas, and the ascetics, and the priests, and the citizens, and the illustrious Gandhihari, he said slowly, humbly, "With our friends and followers we go to the delightful and populous town of Varanavata, at the command of Dhritarashtra. Cheerful, give us your benedictions, so that acquiring prosperity therewith we may not be touched by sin." Thus addressed by the heirs of Pandu's sons, the Kaurava chiefs, all cheerful pronounced blessings on them, saying, "Ye sons of Pandu, let all the elements bless you along your way, and let not the slightest evil befall you." The Pandavas, having performed propitiatory rites for obtaining the kingdom and finishing their preparations, set out for Varanavata. The wicked Duryodhana became very pleased when the king had said so unto the Pandavas. Duryodhana then, summoning his councillor, Purokhana in private, took hold of his right hand and said, "O Purokhana, this world so full of wealth is mine, but it is thine equally with me. It behoveth thee, therefore, to protect it. I have no more trustworthy counsellor than thyself with whom to consult. Therefore, O sire, keep my counsel and exterminate my foes by clever device." Oh, do as I did thee. The Pandavas have, by Dhritarashtra, been sent to Varanavata, where they will, at the Dhritarashtra command, enjoy themselves during the festivities. Do that by which thou mayest this very day reach Varanavata in a car drawn by swift mules. Repairing thither, cause thou to be erected a quadrangular palace in the neighborhood of the arsenal, rich in the materials and furniture, and guard thou the mansion well, and use thou hemp and resin and all other inflammable materials that are procurable, and mixing a little earth with clarified butter and oil and fat and a large quantity of lac, make thou a plaster for lining the walls, and scatter thou around that house hemp and oil and clarified butter and lac and wood in such a way that the Pandavas or in others may not, even with scrutiny, behold them there or conclude the house to be an inflammable one. And having erected such mansion, cause thou the Pandavas, after worshipping them with great reverence, to dwell in it with Kunti and all their friends. And place thou there seats and conveyances and beds, out of the best workmanship for the Pandavas, so that Dhritarashtra may have no reason to complain. Thou must manage it out that none of Varanavata may know anything till the end we have in view is accomplished, and assuring thyself that the Pandavas are sleeping within in confidence and without fear. Thou must then set fire to that mansion, beginning at the outer door. The Pandavas thereupon must be burnt to death, but the people will say that they have been burnt in conflagration of their house, saying, so be it unto the Kuru prince Purukhana repaired to Varanavata in a car drawn by flat mules, and going thither without loss of time, obedient to the instructions of Duryodhana, he did everything that prince had bid him do. Meanwhile, the Pandavas got into their cars, yoking thereto some fine horses, and went with the speed of wind. While they were on the point of entering their cars, they touched in great sorrow the feet of Bhisma, of King Dhritarashtra, of the illustrious Drona, Kripa, Vidyura, and of the other elder of the Kuru race. Thou, saluting with reverence all the older men, and embracing their equals, receiving the farewell of even the children, and taking leave of all the venerable ladies in their household, and walking round them respectfully, and bidding farewell unto all the citizens, the Pandavas, ever mindful of their vows, set out for Varanavata. And Vidyura of great wisdom, and the other bulls among the Kurus and the citizens, from great affliction, followed those tigers among men to some distance. And some amongst the citizens and the country people, who followed the Pandavas, afflicted beyond measure, and beholding the sons of Pandu in such distress, began to say aloud, King Dhritarashtra, of wicked soul, seeth no things with the same eye. The Kuru monarch casteth not his eye on virtue. Neither the sinless Yudhishthira, or Bhishma, the foremost of mighty men, or the Dhananjaya, the son of Kunti, will ever be guilty. When these will remain quiet, how shall the illustrious son of Madri do anything, having inherited to the kingdom from their father, Dhritarashtra, could not bear them? How is that Bhisma, who suffered the exile of the Pandavas to that wretched place, sanctions this act of great injustice? Vikhitravirya, the son of Santanu, and the royal sage Pandu of Kuru race, both cherished us of old with fatherly care. But now that Pandu, that tiger among men, have ascended to heaven, Dhritarashtra cannot bear with these prince, his children. We who do not sanction this exile shall all go, leaving this excellent town in our own homes, where Yudhishthira will go. Unto those distressed citizens, taking in this way the virtuous Yudhishthira himself, afflicted with sorrow, reflecting for a few moments, said, the king is our father, worthy of regard, our spiritual guide, and our superior, to carry out with unsuspicious heart wherever he biddeth is indeed our duty. Ye are our friends, walking round us and making us happy by your blessings, return ye to your abodes. When the time cometh for anything to be done for us by you, then indeed accomplish all that is agreeable and beneficial to us. Thus addressed the citizens, walked round the Pandavas, and blessed them with their blessings, and returned to their respective abodes. And after the citizens had ceased following the Pandavas, Vidura, conversant with all the dictates of morality, desirous of awakening the elves of the Pandavas, addressed him in these words. The learned Vidura, conversant with the jargon, addressed the learned Yudhishthira, who was conversant with the same jargon, in the words of the Melekhat tongue, so as to be unintelligible to all except Yudhishthira. He said, He that knoweth the schemes his foes contrive in accordance with the dictates of political science should, knowing them, act in such a way as to avoid all danger. He that knoweth that there are sharp weapons capable of cutting the body through, not made of steel, and understandeth the means of warding them off, can never be injured by foes. He liveth who protecteth himself by the knowledge that neither the consumer of straw and wood, or the drear of the dew, burneth the image of a hole in the deep wood. The blind man seeth not his way. The blind man hath no knowledge of direction. He that hath no firmness never acquireth prosperity. Remember this, be upon your guard. The man who taketh a weapon not made of steel, given him by his foes, can escape from fire by making his abode like unto that of jackal. By wandering a man may acquire the knowledge of ways, and by the stars he can ascertain the directions, and he that keepeth his fife under control can never be oppressed by his enemies. Thus addressed Pandu's son Yudhishthira, the just, replied unto Vidura, that foremost of our learned men, saying, I have understood thee. Then Vidura, having instructed the Pandavas and followed them, walked around them, and bidding them farewell, returned to his own abode. When the citizens and Bhishma and Vidura had all ceased following, Kunti approached Yudhishthira and said, The words that Khatri said unto thee in the midst of many people, so indistinctly as if he did not say anything, and I reply to him in similar words and voice, we have not understood. If it is not improper for us to know them, I should then like to hear everything that had passed between him and thee. Yudhishthira replied, The virtuous Vidura said unto me that we should know that the mansion have been built of inflammable materials. He said unto me, The path of escape too shall not be unknown to thee. And further, those that can control their senses can acquire the sovereignty of the unwhole world. The reply that I gave unto Vidura was, I have understood thee. The Pandavas set out on the 8th day of the month of Pihalguna, when the star Rohini was ascendant, and arriving at Varanavata, they beheld the town and the people. Then all the citizens, on hearing that son of Pandu had come, were filled with joy at the tidings. Not speedily came out of Varanavata in vehicles of various kinds, numbering by thousands, taking with them every auspicious article, as directed by the Shastras, for receiving those foremost of men. And the people of Varanavata, approaching the sons of Kunti, blessed them by uttering the Jaya and stood surrounding them. The tiger among men, the virtuous Yudhishthira, the surrounded by them, looked resplendent, like him having the thunderbolt in his hands, in the midst of the celestials, and those singing ones, welcomed by the citizens, and welcoming the citizens in return, then entered the populous town of Varanavata, decked with every ornament. Entering the town, those heroes first went to the abodes of the Brahmanas, engaged in their proper duties. Those foremost of men then went to the abodes of the officials of the town, and then of the suitors, and then Vaishyas, and then to those of even the Sudras. Thus adored by the citizens, the Pandavas at last went with Purokhana going before them to the palace that had been built for them. Purokhana then began to place before them food and drink and beds and carpets, all of the first and most agreeable order. The Pandavas, attired in costly robes, continued to live there, adored by Purokhana and the people having their homes in Varanavata. After the Pandavas had thus lived for 10 nights, Purokhana spoke to them of the mansion, the blessed home, but in reality the cursed house. Then those tiger among men, attired in costly dress, entered that mansion, at the instance of Purokhana, like Guhyakas entering the palace on the Kailasa Mount. The foremost of all virtuous men, Yudhishthira, inspecting the house, said unto Vítima that it was really built of inflammable materials, smelling the scent of fat mixed with clarified butter and preparations of lac. He said unto Vítima, O chastiser of fools, this house is truly built of inflammable materials. Indeed, it is apparent that such is the case. The enemy, it is evident, by the idea of trusted artists, well skilled in the construction of houses, have finally built this mansion. After procuring hemp, resin, heat, straw, and bamboos, all soaked in clarified butter, this wicked wretch, Purokhana, acting under the instruction of Duryodhana, stayeth he with the object of burning me to death when he seeth me trustful. But, O son of Pritha, Vidyura, of great intelligence, knew this danger, and therefore hath warned me of it beforehand, knowing it all, that youngest uncle of ours, ever wishing our good from affection, have told us that this house, so full of danger, hath been constructed by the wretches under Duryodhana acting in secrecy. Hearing this, Vítima replied, If, sir, you know this house to be so inflammable, it would then be well for us to return thither where we have taken up our quarter first. Yudhishthira replied, It seems to me that we should rather continue to live here in seeming unsuspiciousness, but all the while with caution, in our senses wide awake, and seeking for some certain means of escape. If Purokhana findeth from our countenances that we have fat-homed designs, acting with haste, he may suddenly burn us to death. Indeed, Purokhana careth little for obloquy or sin. The wretched stayeth he, acting under the instruction of Duryodhana. If we are burned to death, will our grandfather Vítima be angry? Why will he, by showing his wrath, make the Kauravas angry with him? Or Perhaps our grandfather, Vítima, and the other bull of Kuru race, regarding indignation at such a sinful act to be virtuous, may become wrathful. If, however, from fear of being burnt, we fly from here, Duryodhana ambitions of sovereignty will certainly compass our death by means of spies. While we have no rank and power, Duryodhana have both. While we have no friends and allies, Duryodhana have both. While we are without wealth, Duryodhana have at his command a full treasury. Will he not, therefore, certainly destroy us by adopting adequate means? Let us, therefore, by deceiving this rash and that other rash Duryodhana, pass our days disguising ourselves at times. Let us lead a hunting life, wandering over the earth. We shall then, if we have to escape our enemies, be familiar with our paths. We shall, this very day, cause a subterranean passage to be dug in our chamber in great secrecy. If we act in this way, concealing what we do from all, fire shall never be able to consume us. We shall live here, actively doing everything for our safety, but with such privacy that neither Purokhana or any of the citizens of Varanavata may know what we are after. A friend of Vidura person well skilled in meaning, coming unto the Pandavas, addressed them in secret, saying, I have been sent by Vidura, and I am a skillful miner. I am to serve the Pandavas. Tell me what I am to do for ye. From the trust he reposeth in me, Vidura hath said unto me, Go thou unto the Pandavas, and accomplish thou their good. What shall I do for you? Purokhana will set fire to the door of thy house on the 14th night of this, the dark fortnight, to burn to death those tiger among men, the Pandavas, with their mother, in the design of that wicked rash, the son of Dhritarashtra. Vidura told thee something in the Melekha tongue, to which thou hadst replied in same language. I state these particulars as my credentials. Hearing these words, Yudhishthira, the trustful son of Kunti, replied, O amiable one, I now know thee as a dear and trusted friend of Vidura, true and ever devoted to him. There is nothing that the learned Vidura doth not know. As his, so ours art thou. Make no difference between him and us. We are as much thine as his. O protect us as the learned Vidura ever protecteth us. I know that this house, so inflammable, hath been contrived for me by Purokhana at the command of Dhritarashtra's son. That wicked rash, commanding wealth and allies, pursueth us without intermission. Or save us with a little exception from the impending conflagration. If we are burned to death here, Duryodhana's most cherished desire will be satisfied. His that rash well-furnished arsenal, this large mansion, have been built abutting the high ramparts of the arsenal without any outlet. But this unholy contrivance of Duryodhana was known to Vidura from the first, and he it was who enlightened us beforehand. The danger of which Khatri had foreknowledge is now at our door. save us from it without Purokhana knowledge thereof. On hearing these words, the miner said, so be it, and careful beginning his work of excavation, made a large subterranean passage. And the mouth of that passage was in the center of that house, and it was on a level with the floor, and closed up with planks. The mouth was covered from fear of Purokhana, that wicked wretch who kept a constant watch at the door of the house. The Pandavas used to sleep within their chambers with arms ready for use, while during the day they went a hunting from forest to forest. Thus they lived very guardedly, deceiving Purokhana by a show of trustfulness and contentment, while in reality they were trustless and discontented. Nor did the citizens of Varanavata know anything about these plans of the Pandavas. In fact, none else knew of them except Virya friend, that good miner. Seeing the Pandavas living there cheerfully and without suspicion for a full year, Purokhana became exceedingly glad. And beholding Purokhana so very glad, Yudhishthira, the virtuous son of Kunti, addressing Bhishma and Arjuna and the twins, the cruel-hearted wretch have been well deceived. I think the time is come for our escape. Setting fire to the arsenal and burning Purokhana to death and letting his body lie here. Let us 6 persons fly hence unobserved by all. Then on the occasion of an almsgiving, Kunti fed on a certain night a large number of Brahmanas. There came a number of ladies who, while eating and drinking, enjoyed there as they pleased. And with Kunti leave, returned to their respective homes. Desirous of obtaining food, there came a stork impelled by fate to that feast. In course of her wanderings, a Nisrada woman, the mother of 5 children, accompanied by all her sons. She and her children, intoxicated with the wine they drank, become incapable, deprived of consciousness, and more dead than alive. She with all her sons lay down in that mansion to sleep. Then when all the inmates of the house lay down to sleep, there began to blow a violent wind in the night. Bhishma then set fire to the house just where Purokhana was sleeping. Then the son of Pandu set fire to the door of that house of luck. Then he set fire to the mansion in several parts all around. Then when the sons of Pandu were satisfied that the house had caught fire in several parts, those chastisers of foes with their mother entered subterranean passage without losing any time. Then the heat and the horror of the fire became intense and awakened the townspeople. Beholding the house in flames, the citizens with sorrowful faces began to say, the wretch of wicked soul had under the instruction of Duryodhana built his house for the destruction of his employer's relatives. He indeed hath set fire to it. O fear on the Dhritarashtra heart, which is so partial, he hath burnt to death, as if he were therefore the sinless heirs of Pandu, or the sinful and wicked souled, who hath burned those best of men, the innocent and unsuspicious prince, hath himself been burnt to death, as fate would have it. The citizens of Varanavata thus bewailed and waited there for the whole night, surrounding that house. The Pandavas, however, accompanied by their mother, coming out of the subterranean passage, fled in haste unnoticed. But those chastiser of foes, for sleepiness and fear, could not with their mother proceed in haste. Big Masena, endowed with terrible prowess and swiftness of motion, took up his body, all his brothers and mother, and began to push through the darkness, placing his mother on his shoulder, the twins on his sides, and Yudhishthira and Arjuna on both his arms. Vrikodara of great energy and strength, and endowed with the speed of the wind, commenced his march, breaking the trees with his breast and pressing deep the earth with his stamp. About this time the learned Vidura had sent into those woods a man of poor character and much trusted by him. This person, going to where he had been directed, saw the Pandavas with their mother in the forest, employed in a certain place in measuring the depth of a river. The design that the wicked Duryodhana had formed had been, through his spies, known to Vidura of great intelligence, and therefore he had sent that prudent person unto the Pandavas. Sent by Vidura unto them, he showed the Pandavas on the sacred banks of Ganga a boat with engines and flags constructed by trusted artificers and capable of withstanding wind and wave, and endowed with the speed of the tempest or of thought. He then addressed the Pandavas in these words to show that he had really been sent by Vidura. Yudhishthira, he said, listen to these words the learned Vidura had said as a proof of the fact that I come from him. Neither the consumer of straw and the wood, nor the drear of a dew, ever burneth the image of a hole in the forest. He escapeth from death, who protecteth himself, knowing this. But these credentials know me to be the person who has been truly sent by Vidura, and to be his trusted agent. Vidura, conversant with everything, hath again said, Son of Kunti, thou shalt surely defeat in battle Karna, and Duryodhana with his brothers, and Sakuni. This boat is ready on the waters, and it will glide pleasantly thereon, and shall certainly bear you out from these regions. Then, beholding those foremost of men with their mother pensive, and said he caused them to go into the boat that was on Ganga, and accompanied them himself. Addressing them again, he said, Vidura, having smelt your heads and embraced you, have said again that, in commencing your auspicious journey and going alone, you should never be careless. Saying these words unto those heroic princes, the person sent by Vidura took those bows among men over the other side of Ganga in his boat. And having taken them over the water, and seen them all safe on the opposite bank, he uttered the old Jaya to their success, and then left them, and returned to the place when he had come. The illustrious Pandavas, sending through that person some message to Vidura, began, after having crossed the Ganges, to proceed with haste and in great secrecy. Then, when the night had passed away, a large concourse of the townspeople came there in haste to see the sons of Pandu. After extinguishing the fire, they saw that The house just burnt down had been built of lack in materials, and that Gonzalo's Purukhana had been burnt to death. And the people began to bewail aloud, saying, Indeed, this had been contrived by the sinful Duryodhana for the destruction of the Pandavas. There is little doubt that Duryodhana hath, with Dhritarashtra knowledge, burnt to death the heirs of Pandu, else the prince would have been prevented by his father. There is little doubt that even Bhisma, the son of Santanu, and Drona, and Vidyura, and Kripa, and other Kauravas have not, and of them followed the dictates of duty. Let us now send to Dhritarashtra to say, Thy great desire hath been achieved. Thou hast burnt to death the Pandavas. They then began to extinguish the members to obtain some trace of the Pandavas. And they saw the innocent Nishada woman with her 5 sons burnt to death. Then the miner, sent by Vidyura, while removing the ashes, covered the hole he had dug with those ashes in such a way that it remained unnoticed by all who had gone there. The citizens then sent to Dhritarashtra to inform him that the Pandavas, along with Konsala Purukhana, had been burnt to death. King Dhritarashtra, on hearing the evil news of the death of the Pandavas, wept in a great sorrow, and he said, King Pandu, my brother of great fame, hath indeed died today when those heroic sons of his, together with their mother, have been burnt to death. Ye men, repair quickly to Varanavata and cause the funeral rites to be performed of those heroes and of the doctor of Kuntiraj. Let the bones of the deceased be sanctified with the usual rites, and let all the beneficial and great acts be performed. Let the friends and relatives of those that have been burned to death repair thither. Let all other beneficial acts that ought, under the circumstances, to be performed by us for the Pandavas and Kunti, be accomplished by one elf. Having said this, Dhritarashtra, the son of Ambika, surrounded by his relatives, offered oblations of water to the sons of Pandu, and all of them, afflicted with excessive sorrow, bewailed aloud, exclaiming, O Yudhishthira, O prince of the Kuru race, while others cried aloud, O Bhishma, O Pihalguna, while some again, O the twins, O Kunti. Thus did they sorrow for the Pandavas and offer oblations of water unto them. The citizens wept for the Pandavas, but Vidyura did not weep much, because he knew the truth. Meanwhile, the Pandavas entered with great strength with their mother, forming a company of 6 going out of the town of Varanavata, arrived at the banks of Ganga. They then speedily reached the opposite bank, aided by the strength of the both men's arms, the happy deed of the river current, and a favorable wind. Leaving the boat, they proceeded in the southern direction, finding their way in the dark by the light of the stars. After much suffering, they at least reached a dense forest. They were then tired and thirsty. Sleep was closing their eyes every moment. Then Yudhishthira, addressing Bhishma, and with great energy, said, What can be more painful than this? We are now in the deep woods. We know not which side is which, nor can we proceed much further. We do not know whether that rash Purukhana have or have not been burnt to death. How shall we escape from this danger unseen by others? Taking us on thyself, proceed thou as before. Thou alone amongst us art strong and swift as the wind. Thus addressed by Yudhishthira, the just, the might Bhishmasena, taking up on his body Kunti and his brothers, began to proceed with great celerity. As the might Bhishma proceeded, the whole forest, with its trees and their branches, seemed to tremble in consequence of their clash with his breast. The motion of his tigers raised a wind like unto that which blows during the months of Jaistiha and Ashara. And the might Bhishma proceeded, making a path for himself, but treading down the trees and creepers before him. In fact, broke the large trees and plants with their flowers and fruits standing on his way. Even so passeth through the woods, breaking down mighty trees, the leader of herd of elephants, of the age of 60 years, angry and endued with excess of energy during the season of hot, when the liquid juice trickled down the three parts of his body. Indeed, so great was the force with which Bhishma, endued with the speed of Garuda or of Marut, proceeded, that the Pandavas seemed to faint in consequence, frequently swimming across streams difficult of being crossed. The Pandavas disguised themselves on their way from fear of the sons of Dhritarashtra. And Bhishma carried on his shoulder his illustrious mother of delicate sensibilities along the uneven banks of rivers. Towards the evening, Bhishma reached a terrible forest where fruits and roots and water were scarce, and which resounded with the terrible cries of birds and beasts. The twilight deepened, the cries of birds and beasts became fiercer. Darkness shrouded everything from the view, and untimely winds began to blow that broke and laid low many a tree, large and small, and many creepers with dry leaves and fruits. The Kaurava prince, afflicted with fatigue and thirst, and heavy with sleep, were unable to proceed further. They them all sat down in that forest without food and drink. Then Kunti, smitten with thirst, said unto her sons, I am the mother of the 5 Pandavas, and I am now in their midst. Yet I am burning with thirst. Kunti repeat said this unto her sons. Hearing these words, Bhishma's heart, from affection for his mother, was warmed by compassion, and he resolved to go. Then Bhishma, proceeding through that terribly and extensive forest, without a living soul, saw a beautiful banyan tree with wide-spreading branches. Setting down there his brothers and mother, he said unto them, Rest you here, while I go in quest of water. I hear the sweet cries of aquatic fowls. I think there must be a large pool here, commanded by his elder brother, who said unto him, Go. And Bhishma proceeded in the direction whence the cries of those aquatic fowls were coming. He soon came upon a lake, and bathed and slaked his thirst, and affectionate unto his brothers, he brought for them Badha by soaking his upper garments. Hastily retracing his way over those 4 miles, he came unto where his mother was, and beholding her, he was afflicted with sorrow, and began to sigh like a snake, distressed with grief at seeing his mother and brothers asleep on the bare ground. Vrikodara began to weep. O wretched that I am, who beholdeth his brothers asleep on the bare ground, what can befall me more painful than this? Alas, they who formerly at Varanavata could not sleep on the softest and costliest beds, are now asleep on the bare ground. What more painful sight shall I ever behold than that of Kunti, the sister of Vasudeva, that grinder of hostile hearts, the daughter of Kunti Raja, herself decked with every auspicious mark, the daughter-in-law of Vikhitravirya, the wife of the illustrious Pandu, the mother of us, resplendent as the filaments of the lotus, and delicate and tender, and fit to sleep on the costliest bed, thus asleep as she should never be on the bare ground. She who hath brought forth the sons Badharma and Indra and Maruta, she who hath ever slept within palaces, now sleepeth fatigued on the bare ground. What more painful sight shall ever be beheld by me than that of these tigers among men asleep on the ground? The virtuous Yudhishthira, who deserveth the sovereignty of the 3 worlds, sleepeth fatigued like an ordinary man on the bare ground. This Arjuna of the dark hue of blue clouds and unequalled amongst men sleepeth on the ground like an ordinary person. What can be more painful than this? The twins whose beauty are like the twin as wings amongst the celestials, are asleep like ordinary mortals on the bare ground. He who hath no jealous and evil-minded relatives liveth in happiness in this world like a single tree in a village. The tree that standeth single in a village, with its leaves and fruits, from absence of others of the same species, becometh sacred and is worshipped and venerated by all. They again that have many relatives, who, however, are all heroics and virtuous, live happily in the world without sorrow of any kind. Themselves powerful and growing in prosperity, and always gladdening their friends and relatives, they live depending on each other, like tall trees growing in the same forest. We, however, have been forced in exile by the wicked Dhritarashtra and his sons, having escaped with difficulty from sheer good fortune, a fear death. Having escaped from that fire, we are now resting in the shade of this tree. Having already suffered so much, where now are we to go? Ye sons of Dhritarashtra, of little foresight, ye wicked fellows, enjoy your temporary success. The gods are certainly auspicious to you, but ye wicked wretches, ye are alive yet, only because Yudhishthira doth not command me to take your lives. Else this very day, filled as I am with wrath, I will send thee to the region of Yama, with thy children and friends and brothers, and Karna, and the son of Suvala. But what can I do for ye sinful wretches? The virtuous king Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, is not yet angry with you. Having said this, Bhishma of mighty arms, fired with wrath, began to squeeze his palms, sighing deeply in affliction, excited again with wrath, like an extinguished fire blazing up on a sudden. Vrikodara once more beheld his brothers sleeping on the ground like ordinary persons sleeping in trustfulness. And Bhishma said unto himself, I think there is some town not far off from this forest. These all are asleep, so I will sit awake, and these will slake their thirst after they rise refreshed from sleep. Saying this, Bhishma sat there awake, keeping watch of his sleeping mother and brothers. Not far from the place where the Pandavas were asleep, a Rakshasa by name Hidimva dwelt on the Sala tree. Possessed of great energy and prowess, he was a cruel cannibal of visage that was grim in consequence of his sharp and long teeth. He was now hungry and longing for human food. Of long shanks and a large belly, his locks and beard were both head in hue. His shoulders were broad like the neck of a tree. His ears were like unto arrows, and his features were frightful. Had eyes and green visage. The monster beheld, while casting his glances around, the sons of Pandu sleeping in those woods. He was then hungry and longing for human flesh, shaking his dry and grisly locks and scratching them with his fingers pointers upwards. The large month cannibal repeatedly looked at the sleeping sons of Pandu, yawning wishfully at times. Of huge body and great strength, of complexion like a mass of clowns, of teeth long and sharp-pointed, and face emitting a sort of lustre, he was ever pleased with human food, and scenting the odour of men, he addressed his sister, saying, O sister, it is after a long time that such agreeable food hath approached me. My mouth waters at the anticipated relish of such food. My teeth, so sharp-pointed and incapable of being resisted in substance, I shall today, after a long time, put into the most delicious flesh, attacking the human throat and even opening the veins. I shall drink a plentiful quantity of human blood, hot and fresh and forty. Go and ascertain who these are, lying asleep in these woods. The strong scent of men pleaseth my nostrils. Slaughtering all these men, bring them unto me. They sleep within my dominion. Thou needst have no fear from them. Do my bidding soon, for we shall then together eat their flesh, tearing off their bodies at pleasure, and after feasting to our fill on human flesh, we shall then dance together to various merceries. Thus addressed by Hidimva in those woods, Hidimva, the female cannibal, at the command of her brother, went to the spot where the Pandavas were, and on going there she beheld the Pandavas asleep with their mother, and the invincible Bhishmasena sitting awake, and beholding Bhishmasena unrivaled on earth for beauty, and like unto a vigorous salad tree. The Hakishasa woman immediately fell in love with him, and she said to herself, "This person of whom like a heated goat, and of mighty arms, of broad shoulders as the lion, and so splendid of neck marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, and eyes like lotus petals, is worthy of being my husband. I shall not obey the cruel mandate of my brother. A woman's love for her husband is stronger than her affection for her brother. If I slay him, my brother's gratification, as well as mine, will only be momentary. But if I slay him not, I can joy with him forever and ever." Thus saying, the Hakishasa woman, capable of assuming form at will, assumed excellent human form, and began to advance with slow steps towards Vítima, of mighty arms. Decked with celestial ornaments, she advanced with smiles on her lips, and a modest guide, and addressing Vítima, said, "O among men, whence hast thou come here, and who art thou? Who besides are these persons of celestial beauty sleeping here? Who, O single zone, is the lady of transcendent beauty, sleeping so trustful in these woods, as if she were lying in her own chamber? Dost thou not know that this forest is the abode of a Hakishasa? Truly do I say, he liveth the wicked Hakishasa, called Hidimva. Ye beings of celestial beauty, I have been sent hither, even by that Hakishasa, my brother, with the cruel intent of killing you for his food. But I tell thee truly, that beholding thee splendid as a celestial, I would have none else for my husband save thee. Thou who art acquainted with our duties, knowing this, do unto me what is proper. My heart, as well as my body, have been pierced by karma. Desirous as I am of obtaining thee, make me thine. O thou of mighty arms, I will rescue thee from the Hakishasa, who eateth human flesh. O sinless one, be thou my husband. We shall then live on the breast of mountains, inaccessible to ordinary mortals. I can range the air, and I do so at pleasure. Thou mayest enjoy great felicity with me in those regions." Hearing these words of her, Vítima replied, "O Hakishasa woman, who can, like a Muni, having all his passions under control, abandon his sleeping mother and elder and younger brothers? What man like me would go to gratify his lust, leaving his sleeping mother and brothers as food for a Hakishasa?" The Hakishasa woman replied, "Awaken out these. I shall do unto you all what is agreeable to thee. I shall certainly rescue you all from my cannibal brother." Vítima then said, "O Hakishasa woman, I will not, from fear of thy wicked brother, awaken my brothers and mother sleeping comfortably in the woods. O timid one, Hakishasas are never able to bear the prowess of my arms. And, O thou of handsome eyes, neither men or Gandhiharvas or Yakishasas are able to bear my might. O amiable one, thou mayest stay or go as thou likest, or mayest even send thy cannibal brother. O thou of delicate shape, I care not." Hidimva, the chief of the Hassas, seeing that his sister returned not soon enough, alighted from the tree, proceeded quickly to the spot where the Pandavas were, of heady eyes and strong arms, and the arms and the hair of his head standing erect, of large open mouth and body like unto a mass of dark clouds, teeth long and sharp pointed, he was terribly to behold. And Hidimva, beholding her brother, of frightful visage, alight from the tree, became very much alarmed, and addressing Vítima said, "The wicked cannibal is coming hither in wrath. I entreat thee, do with thy brothers as I bid thee. O thou of great courage, as I am endowed with the powers of a Hassa, I am capable of going whithersoever I like. Mount ye on my hips, I will carry you out through the skies. O chastiser of foes, awaken these, and thy mother is sleeping in comfort. Taking them out on my body, I will convey you through the skies." Vítima then said, "O thou of fair hips, fear not anything. I am sure that, as long as I am here, there is no Hassa capable of injuring any of these. O thou of slender waist, I will slay these before thy very eyes. This worst of Hassas, O timid one, is no worthy antagonist of mine. Or cow out the Hassas together, bear the strength of my arms. Behold these strong arms of mine, each like unto the trunk of an elephant. Behold these thighs of mine like unto iron maces, and this broad and adamantine chest. O beautiful one, thou shalt today behold my prowess like unto that of Indra. O thou of fair hips, hate me not, thinking that I am a man." Hidimva replied, saying, "O tiger among men, O thou of the beauty of a celestial, I do not certainly hold thee in contempt, but I have seen the prowess that Hassa exert upon men." Then the wrathful Hassa, eating human flesh, heard these words of Vítima, who had been talking in that way. And Hidimva beheld his sister disguised in human form, her head decked with garlands of flowers, and her face like the full moon, and her eyebrows and nose and eyes and ringlets are of the handsomest description, and her nails and complexion of the most delicate hue, and herself wearing every kind of ornament and attired in fine transparent robes. The cannibal, beholding her in that charming human form, suspected that she was desirous of carnal intercourse, and became indignant. Becoming angry with his sister, the Hassa dilated his eyes, and addressing her said, "What senseless creature wishes to throw obstacles in my path now that I am so hungry? Hast thou become so senseless, O Hidimva, that thou fearest not my wrath? Fear on thee, thou unchaste woman! Thou art even undesirous of carnal intercourse, and solicitous of doing me an injury. Thou art ready to sacrifice the good name and honor of all the Hassas, thy ancestors, those with whose aid thou wouldst do me this great injury. I will, even now, slay along with thee." Addressing his sister thus, Hidimva, with eyes red with anger, and teeth pressing against teeth, ran at her to kill her then and there. But beholding him rush at his sister, Vítima, that foremost of smiters, endowed with great energy, rebuked him and said, Stop! Stop! Vítima, beholding the Rakshasa angry with his sister, smiled, and addressing him, Hidimva, what need is there for thee to awaken these persons sleeping so comfortably? Wicked cannibal, approach me first without loss of time. Smite me first. It behoveth thee not to kill a woman, especially when she hath been sinned against instead of sinning. This girl is scarcely responsible for her act in desiring intercourse with me. She hath, in this, been moved by the deity of desire that pervadeth every living form. Thou wicked, rash, and the most infamous of Rakshasas, thy sister came here at thy command. Beholding my person, she desireth me. In that, the timid girl doth no injury to thee. It is the deity of desire that hath offended. It behoveth thee not to injure her for this offence. Wicked rash, thou shalt not slay a woman when I am here. Come with me, cannibal, and fight with myself singly. Singly shall I send thee today to the abode of Yama. Rakshasas, let thy head today, pressed by my might, be pounded to pieces, as dog pressed by the tread of a mighty elephant. Slain by me on the field of battle, let herons and hawks and jackals tear in glee thy limbs today on the ground. In a moment shall today make this forest destitute of Rakshasas, this forest that had so long been pulled by thee, devourer of human beings. Thy sister, Rakshasa, shall today behold thyself, hook dog, thou art like a mountain, like a hook elephant repeatedly dragged by a lion. Worst of Rakshasas, thyself slain by me, men hanging these woods will henceforth do so safely and without fear. Hearing these words, Hidimva said, What need is there? Man, this thy vaunt, and this thy boast. Accomplish all this first, and then mayest thou vaunt in thee. Therefore delay thou not. Thou knowest thyself to be strong and endowed with powers, so thou shalt rightly estimate thy strength today in thy encounter with me. Until that, I will not slay these. Let them sleep comfortably. But I will, as thou art a fool, and the utterer of evil species, slay thee first. After drinking thy blood, I will slay these, and then last of all, these that have done me an injury. Saying this, the cannibal, extending his arms, running wrath towards Bhishmasena, that chastiser of foes. Then Bhishma, of terribly prowess, quickly seized, as dog in sport, with great force, the extended arms of the Rakshasa, who had rushed at him. Then, seizing the struggling Rakshasa with violence, Bhishma dragged him from that spot, full 32 cubits, like a lion dragging a little animal. Then the Rakshasa, thus made to feel the weight of Bhishma's strength, became very angry, and clasping the Pandava, sent forth a terrible yell. The mighty Bhishma then dragged with force the Rakshasa to a great distance, lest his yells should awaken his brothers sleeping in comfort. Clasping and dragging each other with great force, both Hidimva and Bhishmasena put forth their prowess, fighting like two full-grown elephants mad with rage. They then began to break down the trees and tear the creeps that grew around. And at those sounds, those tigers among men woke up with their mother and saw Hidimva sitting before them. Roused from sleep, those tigers among men with their mother, beholding the extraordinary beauty of Hidimva, were filled with wonder, and Kunti, gazing at her with wonder, at her beauty, addressed her sweetly and gave her every assurance. She asked, "Thou of the splendor of a daughter of the celestials, whose art thou, and who art thou? Thou of the fairest complexion, on what business hast thou come hither, and whence hast thou come? If thou art the deity of these woods, or an Apsara, tell me all regarding thyself, and why thou stayest here." Hidimva replied, "This extensive forest that thou seest of the hue of the blue cloud is the abode of a Rakshasa of the name of Hidimva, as also of mine. Handsome lady, know me as the sister of that chief of the Rakshasas. Reverend dame, I had been sent by that brother of mine to kill thee with all thy children, but on arriving here, at the command of that cruel brother of mine, I beheld thy might, sun color like pure gold. Then, blessed lady, was brought under the control of thy son by the deity of love, who pervadeth the nature of every being. And then chose that mighty son of thine as my husband. I tried my best to convey you hence, but I could not. Then the cannibal, seeing my delay, came hither to kill all these thy children, but he hath been dragged hence with force by that mighty and intelligent son of thine. Behold now that couple, men and Rakshasa, both endowed with great strength and prowess, engaged in combat, guiding each other and filling the whole region with their shouts. Hearing those words of hers, Yudhishthira suddenly rose up, and Arjuna, and Nakula, and Sahadeva of great strength, and they beheld Bhishma and the Rakshasa already engaged in fight, eager to overcome each other and dragging each other with great force, like two lions endowed with great might. The dust raised by their feet, in consequence of that encounter, looked like the smoke of a forest conflagration. Covered with that dust, their huge bodies resembled two tall cliffs enveloped in mist. Then Arjuna, beholding Bhishma, rather oppressed in the fight by the Rakshasa, slowly said with smiles on his lips, "Fear not, Bhishma of mighty arms. We knew not that thou wast engaged with a terrible Rakshasa, tired in fight. Hitherto I stand to help thee. Let me slay the Rakshasa, and let Nakula and Sahadeva protect our mother." Hearing him, Bhishma said, "Look on this encounter, brother, like a stranger. Fear no for the result. Having come within the reach of my arms, he shall not escape with life." Arjuna said, "What need, Bhishma, for keeping the Rakshasa alive so long? Oppressor of enemies, we are to go hence, and cannot stay here longer. The east is reddening, The morning twilight is about to set in. Hakishasa became stronger by breaking of day. Therefore, hasten, Bhima, play not, but slay the terrible Hakishasa soon. During the two twilights, Hakishasas always put forth their powers of deception. Use out the strength of thy arms. At this speech of Arjuna, Bhima, blazing up with anger, summoned the might that Vayu put forth at the time of the universal dissolution, and filled with rage, he quickly raised high in the air Hakishasa body, blew as the clouds of heaven, and wheeled at 100 times. Then, addressing the cannibal, Bhima said, Hakishasa, thy intelligence was given thee in vain, and in vain hast thou grown and thrived on unsanctified flesh. Thou deservest, therefore, an unholy death, and I shall reduce thee today to nothing. I shall make this forest blessed today, like one without prickly plants. Hakishasa, thou shalt no longer slay human beings for thy food. Arjuna at this juncture said, Bhima, if thou thinkest it a hard task for thee to overcome this Hakishasa in combat, let me render thee help, else slay him thyself without loss of time. Vrikodara, let me alone slay the Hakishasa. Thou art tired, and hast almost finished the affair. Well dost thou deserve rest. Hearing these words of Arjuna, Bhima was fired with rage, and dashing the Hakishasa on the ground with all his might, slew him, as if he were an animal. The Hakishasa, while dying, sent forth a terrible yell that filled the whole forest, and was deep as the sound of a wet drum. Then the mighty Bhima, holding the body with his hands, bent it double, and breaking it in the middle, greatly gratified his brothers. Beholding Hidimva slain, they became exceedingly glad, and lost no time in offering their congratulations to Bhima, the chastiser of our foes. Then Arjuna, worshipping the illustrious Bhima of terrible prowess, addressed him again and said, Reverend Senor, I think there is a town not far off from this forest. Blessed be thou, let us go hence soon, so that Duryodhana may not trace us. Then all those mighty car warriors, those tigers among men, saying, So be it, proceeded along with their mother, followed by Hidimva, the Hakishasa woman. Bhima, beholding Hidimva following them, addressed her, saying, Hakishasas avenge themselves on their enemies by adopting deceptions that are incapable of being penetrated. Therefore, Hidimva, go thou the way on which thy brother hath gone. Then Yudhishthira, beholding Bhima in rage, said, Bhima, tiger among men, however enraged, do not slay a woman. Pandava, the observance of virtue is a higher duty than the protection of life. Hidimva, who had come with the object of slaying us, thou hast already slain. This woman is the sister of that Hakishasa. What can she do to us, even if she were angry? Then Hidimva, reverentially saluting Kunti and her son Yudhishthira, said with joined palms, Reverend lady, thou knowest the pangs that women are made to feel at the hands of the deity of love. Blessed dame, these pangs of which Bhimasena have been the cause are torturing me. I had hitherto borne these insufferable pangs, waiting for the time. The time is now come, when I expect I won't be made happy, casting off my friends and relations and the usage of my haste. I have, blessed lady, chosen the son of thine, this tiger among men, as my husband. I tell thee truly, illustrious lady, that if I am cast off by that hero, or by thee either, I will no longer bear this life of mine. Therefore, thou of the fairest complexion, it behoveth thee to show me mercy, thinking me either as very silly or thy obedient slave. Illustrious dame, unite me with this thy son, my husband, and with as he is with the form of a celestial, let me go taking him with me wherever I like. Trust me, blessed lady, I will again bring him back unto you all. When you think of me, I will come to you immediately and convey you whithersoever ye may command. I will rescue you from all dangers and carry you across inaccessible and uneven regions. I will carry you on my back whenever ye desire to proceed with swiftness. Be graceful unto me and make Vítima accept me. It hath been said that in a season of distress, one should protect his life by any means. He that seeketh to discharge that duty should not scruple about the means. He that in a season of distress keepeth his virtue is the foremost of virtuous men. Indeed, distress is the greatest danger to virtue and virtuous men. It is virtue that protecteth life. Therefore is virtue called the giver of life. Hence the means by which virtue or the observance of a duty is secured can never be censurable. Hearing these words of Hidimva, Yudhishthira said, It is even so. Hidimva, as thou sayest, there is no doubt of it. But thou of slender waist, thou must act even as thou hast said. Vítima will, after he hath washed himself and said his prayers and performed the usual propitiatory rites, pay his attentions to thee till the sun sets. Sport thou with him as thou likest during the day. Thou that art endowed with the speed of the mind, but thou must bring back Bhigmasena hither every day at nightfall. Then Vítima, expressing his assent to all that Yudhishthira said, addressed Hidimva, saying, Listen to me, Hakishasa woman. Truly do I make this engagement with thee, that I will slay with thee, thou of slender waist, until thou obtainest a son. Then Hidimva, saying, So be it, took Vítima upon her body and sped through the skies, on mountain peaks of picturesque scenery and regions sacred to the gods, abounding with dappled hearts and echoing with the melodies of fettered tribes, herself assuming the handsome form decked with every ornament and pouring forth at times mellifluous strains. Hidimva sported with the Pandava and studied to make him happy. Inaccessible regions of forest and on mountains breast overgrown with blossoming trees, on lakes resplendent with lotuses and lilies, islands of rivers and their pebbly banks, on sylvan streams with beautiful banks and mountain currents, in picturesque woods with blossoming trees and creepers, in Himalayan bowers, in various caves, on crystal pools, smiling with lotuses, on sea shores shining with gold and pearls, in beautiful towns, in fine gardens, in woods sacred to the gods, and on hillsides, in the regions of Guhiakas and ascetics, on the banks of Manasaravara, abounding with fruits and flowers of every season. Hidimva, assuming the handsome form, sported with vítima and studied to make him happy. And with the speed of the mind, she sported with vítima in all these regions, till in time she conceived and brought forth a mighty son begotten upon her by the Pandava. Of terrible eyes and large mouth and straight arrow ears, the child was terrible to behold, of lips brown as copper and sharp teeth and loud roar, of mighty arms and great strength and excessive prowess. This child became a mighty bowman, of long nose, broad chest, frightfully swallowing calves, celerity of motion, and excessive strength. He had nothing human in his countenance, dog born of men, and he excelled all Pisakhas and kindred tribes, as well all Haksasas. Dog, a little child, he grew up a youth the very hour he was born. The mighty hero soon acquired high proficiency in all weapons. The Haksasas woman bring forth the very day they conceive, and capable of assuming any form at will, they always change their forms. And the blood-headed child, that mighty bowman, soon after his birth, bowing down to his mother, touched her feet and the feet of his father. His parents then bestowed upon him a name, his mother having remarked that his head was like unto a gihata. Both his parents thereupon called him Gihatoti Kakha. Gihatoti Kakha, who was exceedingly devoted to the Pandavas, became a great favorite with them, indeed almost one of them. Then Hidimva, knowing that the period of her stay had come to end, saluted the Pandavas, and making a new appointment with them, went away whithersoever she liked. In Gihatoti Kakha, that foremost of Haksasas, promising unto his father that he would come when wanted on business, saluted them and went away northward. Indeed, it was the illustrious Indra who created the mighty cow warrior Gihatoti Kakha as a fit antagonist of Karna, of unrivaled energy, in consequence of the dart he had given unto Karna. Those mighty cow warriors, the heroic Pandavas, then went from forest to forest, killing deer and many animals. In the course of their wanderings, they saw the countries of the Matsiyas, the Trigartas, the Pankhalas, and then of the Kikhakas, and many beautiful woods and lakes therein. And they all had matted locks on their heads, and were attired in barks of trees and the skins of animals. Indeed, with Kunti in their company, those illustrious heroes were attired in the garbs of ascetics. Those mighty cow warriors, sometimes they proceeded in haste, carrying their mother on their backs. Sometimes they proceeded in disguise. Sometimes again with great celerity. They used to study the Rig and the other Vedas, and all the Vedangas as well, the science of morals and politics. The Pandavas, conversant with the science of morals, meet in course of their wanderings their grandfather, and saluting the illustrious Krishna, the Vayapayana, those chastiser of enemies with their mother, stood before him with joined hands. Vyasa then said, Ye bulls of Bharata race, I knew beforehand of this affliction of yours consisting in your deceitful exile by the son of Dhritarashtra. Knowing this, I have come to you, desirous of doing you some great good. Do not grieve for what hath befallen you. Know that all this is for your happiness. Undoubtedly, the sons of Dhritarashtra and you are equal in my eye. But men are always partial to those who are in misfortune or of tender years. It is therefore that my affection for you is greater now. In consequence of that affection, I desire to do you good. Listen to me. Not far off before you is a delightful town where no danger can overtake you. Live ye there in disguise, waiting for my return. Vyasa, the son of Satyavati, thus comforting the Pandavas, led them into the town of Ekakhakra. And the master comforted Kunti, saying, Live, doctor. This son of thine, Yudhishthira, ever devoted to truth, this illustrious bull among men, having by his justice conquered the whole world, will rule over all the other monarchs of the earth. There is little doubt that, having by means of Bhima and Arjuna prowess conquered the whole earth with her belt of seas, he will enjoy the sovereignty thereof. The sons as well as these of Madri, might car warriors, all will share fully sport as pleaseth them in their dominions. These tigers among men will perform various sacrifices, such as the Rajasuya and the horse sacrifice, in which the presents unto the Brahmanas are very large. And these thy sons will rule their ancestral kingdom, maintaining their friends and relatives in luxury and affluence and happiness. With these words, Vyasa introduced them into the dwelling of a Brahmana. The island-born Rishi, addressing the heirs of the Pandavas, said, Wait here for me. I will come back to you, by adapting yourselves to the country and the occasion you will succeed in becoming very happy. Then the Pandavas, with joined hands, said unto the Rishi, So be it. And the illustrious master, the Rishi Vyasa, then went away to the region whence he had come.